Hi, I'm Kathy Barker and this is video 2 of a series of videos for Microsoft Planner. What I want to have a look at the moment are some of the Planner interface options. Now, if we cast our eyes to the left hand side towards the top here of Microsoft Planner, you will see a button, and what this does is allows us to collapse and expand the navigation bar. Now, the navigation bar is this panel that runs down the left hand side. So when I click this, it hides it, and when I click this, it shows it. So if you can't see these options, simply click this button. Then what we see is the pinned section, and these are plans that we have pinned so that we can get quick access to them. It's almost like our favorites. We can easily hit this little button here, more options, and we can easily unpin if we no longer work with that plan on a regular basis. But we also have an option here called My Plans, and if I click that, I'm able to see all my recent plans. And I have the option here to search for a particular plan. So if I'm looking for job 1, 2, 3, 4, then it narrows it down and I can easily find that plan, and then I can clear the search. The other thing you can do is you can create a new plan using this button here in the top right corner, as well as this button here in the bottom left corner. When I click on shared, these are plans that have been shared with me, so it filters what you're actually seeing. And when I click on personal, these are plans that only I have access to. And when I click on pinned, I get a reproduction of what I see on the left hand side in my pinned section. And the recommended option, what that does is it is a little bit of an AI driven option. It recognizes plans that you are spending a lot of time in, and instead of having to quickly find those when you've got a lot of plans going on, it creates a recommended list of plans that you frequently work with. But I'm just going to go back to the default, which is recent. Now, what are some of the options that we have available to us for managing plans? First thing I'm going to go to is the plan I created in video 1, which is my team event. Now, when you see the name of the plan at the top here, you'll notice there's a V, and if you click that, you're able to go into the plan details. Now, what the plan details allow you to do is that they allow you to rename the plan. So I'm going to actually add on the end here that this is the October 2026 plan. Now what it does also, it brings up a variety of suggested backgrounds, and as I click on them I can see what they look like. So choose a background that you like the look of or not by choosing this option here. I'm going to go for this look here. Now the other thing you've got is group at the top here. And when you go to group, you're able to also change the group that this plan is shared with. You're also able to give the group a description, and you can change the plan from being public, which means anybody in my organisation can see the plan contents, or I can change it to private, where only members I add can actually see the plan contents. If you choose public or private, you'll have to choose save. And notice also in the bottom right corner, here is where you would delete this group. And if I go back to, I'll put this on public and I'll save. If I go back to general, then I also can delete this plan. So if you're wanting to know how to delete a plan, go into the plan details, and there's the option there. So I'm just going to close the plan details. Now some of the other options that you see in this drop down, there's the ability to also pin and unpin there as well. So things can be done in a variety of locations. I'm going to hit this drop down here. The other thing we've got, for example, is copy a plan. So if I need to create a plan that's very similar to what I did last time, then I'll just duplicate the plan by hitting this option here. So I'll go copy plan, and this is a team event I'm also going to run in April. Actually, let's go February 2027. I can assign it to a group or not, and then I had the options to also copy across these options to the duplicate. So I'm going to copy, and so now I've got another plan called team event, and this is for February 2027. You may need to refresh your screen, so you've got a refresh option up here, but you can also go F5, the function key F5 to refresh the screen, or Control R to reload the screen. I'm going to go F5. I'll then click on my plans because I may not have pinned it. So I'll go to my plans, and there I can see it there, and it's not pinned. That's why this pin is black and this one is not. So I'm going to pin it, and now I see it on the left hand side of my navigation bar in my pin section. I'm going to go now to February 2027. I notice that it doesn't have a background, so I'll go into my plan details and I'll choose a background, and I'll choose a different background for this one. And now I want to make another copy because we have another team event that's happening in April. So I'll close my plan details, I'll hit the V on the name of the plan, I will copy the plan, I'll call the plan team event October 2027, I'll assign it to a group, and then I'll tick all the options that I want to include in the duplicate or the copy, and then I'll click copy. I'll go to my plans. If it's not showing there, I'll refresh. I can then see my plan is listed here, so I'll pin it. I'll click on the plan to open it. I need a background, so I'll go into the drop down and I'll go to plan details. I actually need it to be April, not October, so I'm going to rename the plan. And then I'm going to choose a background. I'll then close my plan details. Now, whenever you have a plan and you look towards the pin section of the navigation bar, underneath the name of the plan, you can actually see the name of the group that this plan is connected to. The members of that group will be able to see the contents of this plan and be able to be assigned to certain tasks. But if I need to add more people to this plan above and beyond that group, we have got a share button here in the top right corner, and what I can do is simply add members by putting their name or their email in here and inviting them. But I'll simply close. If this plan wasn't assigned to a group, you could actually use that share button to choose a group and connect a plan to a group. But if you wanted to remove a group from a plan, you would go back to the plan details. And in the plan details and under the group section, you can delete this group from that plan and potentially assign a different group to that plan. But I'm just going to close it. If you want to send a link to this plan in an email or a Teams chat and encourage people to go and look at the plan, you could hit this drop down here and you could copy a link to the plan. Here it says a link has been copied to the clipboard. You would then proceed to just go to an email or a channel, a chat, and actually do a paste and put that link and encourage people to click that link and visit this plan. They would have to be members of this plan, or this plan would have to be public. Another thing you might like to do is, if you hit this drop down again, you're able to export the plan to Excel, and that could be handy if you want to create reports that Microsoft Planner doesn't give you. They might be pivot tables, they might be charts other than a donut or a column chart. You might have specific reporting needs, and so you can export the plan to Excel. And here it is here. And then if I go to open that, what you see is it's actually exported the information that we've currently given the plan into an Excel file. And there's a second sheet called plan name, which is simply the name of the plan and the date in which it was exported. Whereas tasks is a list of the tasks and details associated with those tasks. And I can close. If you want to go to the Outlook group associated with this plan, you could go to Share and you could hit this button here, which actually goes to Outlook and that particular group in your Outlook. And so here we see our groups here, and you're able to see the emails to this group. If I close this option, the other option you've got in this drop down is you can actually add a plan to the Outlook calendar. But I probably wouldn't encourage this option because Microsoft are retiring it January 2026. So we don't want something that's not going to have longevity. So I'm going to close that. Now, another little handy tip is if I'm working with the February, April, October plans all at the same time, then I may want to duplicate this tab. So I'm going to right click this tab and duplicate it. And then in this tab, and then I'll do it again, right click and duplicate it. And in this tab, I want to see October 2026. In this tab here, I want to see February 2027, and in this one, I'm seeing April 2027. So it's quite handy to be able to separate them and work on multiple plans at the same time. But it's also handy to not have them sort of like grouped together like this, but actually pull them apart. So I'm going to pull April out, and I'm going to pull February out. So now they're 3 separate windows. And what I can do is I can arrange them on my screen. So for example, I want October on the left-hand side of my screen. So I hold the Windows logo key on my keyboard and I hit the left arrow. Then what I'll do is I'll click on February and it'll occupy the right hand side of my screen. And so now I can be working with 2 plans side by side simply by using the Windows logo key, putting one window on the right and then putting the other window on the left. But if your screen is big enough and you rest on your restore button here or your maximize button here, you may end up getting 3 side-by-side options. And on my big screen I do. And if you end up with 3, then you can put one window on one side, you can put another window on another side, and you can actually put a third window in the middle. So I will just pull this out, and so I'm able to work on February, Alt-Tab, April, Alt-Tab, April and October. So Alt-Tab, holding your thumb on the Alt and tapping the Tab key allows you to jump between windows, but you can put them side by side, but if you've got a decent size screen, you can fit all 3 of them side by side. If I want to bring them back together again, I'll simply drag October back and next door to April. I'll Alt-Tab back to the other project, and I'll drag that tab and put that in here as well. I'll drag this one, put it first, this one second, and this one third. So you can drag them to the left and to the right and rearrange them as well. So it's all about working with multiple projects at the same time, easily. So let's explore the Windows logo key a little bit further. If we can use Windows logo key right arrow to put a selected window on the right and then choose who we want on the left, we can do so much more than that. For example, if you were adding a task and you needed a certain character that wasn't on your keyboard, you can go Windows logo key full stop. And what that will do is it'll bring up some emojis, but more importantly, it'll bring up symbols. So if I need to have somebody's name, Zoe, who likes 2 dots on the top of the E, I can get it in here. If I need squared or cubed, or I need plus or minus, or maybe I need a degree symbol, or even I need the word topor and I need to have a macron on the O for a Māori vowel, then I would simply use these symbols here. Now these are my recent ones, so these will evolve, but as I scroll down there's many general punctuation symbols, but there are also symbols regarding currency if I'm dealing with international currency. There are also symbols that fall into the Latin symbols, which is your Māori vowels and your other types of Latin symbols. But you've also got certain symbols that are related to the topic of geometric symbols, so arrow keys for example, and you've also got other symbols that relate to maths and things like that. So it just continues along. So Windows logo key full stop if you're looking for something that is not on your keyboard. The other very useful key combination is Windows logo key in H. What this allows you to do is dictate rather than type. If typing is not your superpower, then use Windows H to dictate. Let me show you. Create a short list of clients. And when I press Windows H again, I stop dictating. So this is the little window here. You can press Windows H to start it and Windows H to stop it, or to stop it you can just click the microphone. So if typing's not your thing, or perhaps you are adding a task and you've got a lot of notes here, refer to the customer relationship database where we have a list of clients and they're identified by the contact type clients. We can use this as a source and create a short list of clients from this particular database. How easy was that? So we can use Windows H to actually dictate. Another really useful key combination is Windows logo key Shift S. What that allows you to do is snip something. I might have an email, a PDF, something on the internet, something that I need to snip and then add to a task as an attachment. So let me just do a brief example. Windows Shift S makes my screen go dim. I then drag around whatever it is that I want to snip. My little notification comes up, which allows me to click and bring up the snip. I then save that. I'll put it on my desktop and I'll just call it, and it creates a PNG file which I'll save. I see the tick here. I close my snipping tool. I open up a task. I add an attachment from the device, and I'm able to choose the particular snip that I created. And what it eventually does is it shows a picture of that snip actually in here. Let me just change the background of this plan and you'll see it more clearly. And so you can see the snip there. So Windows Shift S is also a very handy shortcut key combination to create a snip. The other one that's quite handy is the clipboard. If I'm in a task, for example, if I'm sitting, say, in the notes or in the comments, and I go Windows V to bring up my clipboard, if it doesn't bring up your clipboard, it may ask you to turn it on because you've never turned it on, so turn it on. And from then on, what this Windows V does is it remembers the last 25 things you've either snipped, cut, or copied. And so this could be a quick way of pasting information quickly into a task. So knowing how to access your clipboard is very good as well. The last 25 things you've copied, cut, or snipped. There are more Windows logo key shortcuts in the notes, but those are the ones I want to highlight with regards to Planner at this point in time. See you in the next video.